Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and the ratings are seemingly coming in for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Well, at least the trades are reporting on ratings, but you got to take these ratings with some caveats because there's a lot more to these numbers than they want to actually tell you. And yeah, I'm going to be fair about this. And the thieves at Deadline are making an unfair comparison here, if I'm actually being honest. Because look, Wonder Woman 84 was released on a Christmas week when everyone was home, and they promoted it like hell. And Zack Snyder's Justice League is a much longer, harder to sell film. And the reality is that it just not that far behind if you really put the numbers toe to toe. Now, did it do enough to warrant more? That's still the big question, and I got some thoughts on that. But overall, I wanted to make sure you guys actually had this intel. Now, this information comes in from Samba TV. Now, the way that they do this, and they're reporting that 1.8 million HBO Max households had at least the first 5 minutes of the premiere over the weekend. If this is only 19 through 21, that figure ranks behind the 2.2 million. Let's be honest, it's 0.4 difference. It's not that bad. Households who watched Wonder Woman 84, which, come on, guys, even if you're a Snyder fan, Wonder Woman 84 was a much bigger draw to a much bigger audience. So I have to say, I'm impressed by how close these two numbers were, to be fair to Zack Snyder and the film. And so that received over its weekend 2.2 million over the December 25th, December 27th, which everyone was home. This wasn't released at 3 a.m. With so much harder to watch. So those caveats that the thieves at Deadline who steal headlines and articles aren't really being fair in this headline. But this is what's going out in the trades now. And again, look, the reality is, and I say this with no joy or any, just as my years of experience working in the industry, I have, accept it or not, I have. A studio doesn't put out a press release 5 days later saying they're moving on if the film was a massive success for them. So I believe these numbers. I believe the numbers to an extent. I do. I think 1.8 million is fair. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not embarrassing. But it's also not amazing. And I would say neither were Wonder Woman 84's numbers. I would say both films underperformed to warrant more. Now, Wonder Woman 3, is going to be a theatrical release within, I would imagine, a 2-hour time frame. They're going to do another film, and that film would make money. Now, could a Justice League 2 make money if it's a theatrical piece? Potentially, yeah, sure. But it's complicated for them. And I think they had their eyes on this, paying attention, close attention. And is it fair what they're doing? Look, you can argue it's not. You can argue Warner Brothers has already made its decision before this happened, but reality is money talks. And if this film didn't bring in subscribers and the views weren't as that much better than Wonder Woman 84, yeah, they're not going to rush to make more. That's just the reality of it, whether you like it or not. And I think the fandom right now out there with the hashtag Fire Ann Sarnoff and some of the atrocious things I've seen on there. Jason Killar did about an anti-hate thread, and the Snyder bots are in there going nuts. It's like, that's who I'm speaking about when I'm angry. I'm happy they don't get it. But look, I know a lot of fans have actually been impressed by this film. And for all of you guys, yeah, enjoy the film you got, but it looks like it's going to be over for now. Anything's possible. I'm never going on record saying nothing's ever happening because Zack Snyder has proven to us all that anything is possible. All right, now, but going back through this article, I want to explain where this number comes from also, because the caveat there is important as well. Samba TV polls terrestrial smart TVs. Separately, insiders have informed us that the 4-hour plus Snyder Cut was massive, yet slotted behind Wonder Woman 84. So, they're saying it did well. Even this is sort of reporting that it did well, but it was 4 hours, yada, yada. But Samba TV, the way they do this, apparently your smart TVs have, apps. And somehow the smart TV is able to track which apps and what you're watching on your apps. So while Netflix and HBO Max and Disney don't tell you the numbers, some smart TVs where you activate it through there are able to figure out, okay, well, what are they actually watching? They can actually, because it's just like Apple can track everything you're doing on your iPhone, just like Google can track what you're doing in Gmail, right? And then if you go to, it's all connected in a way. And that's why Apple, man, they have a lot of your information if you have a phone and a laptop, because they can in theory get all that information whether you want to or not. And so yeah, these smart TVs are somehow tracking the streaming data while it's going there. And so it's a sort of a go-between to sort of get an idea of how it works. And for those of you like, yeah, but that doesn't count this. Neither did Nielsen ratings. The way Nielsen's ratings is they sent out boxes to certain families to sort of then come up with a cumulative average through their algorithms and formulas, sort of deduced sort of how it was working. random Nielsen families who no one was allowed to know who they were. They were just basically having, just similar to this, they were having their TVs sort of recorded and the data recorded so they could sort of gather what a random amount of families and households were watching. They accumulate that data, and that becomes sort of the average of everybody. And so the Samba TV is clearly a similar model. Is it perfect? No. Could it be off a little bit? Absolutely. But it does seem like it's a fair guesstimate since the studios aren't providing numbers themselves. So to hear that Wonder Woman made 2.2 and this made 1.8, overall it's not a failure in my mind. It just shows that HBO Max is not as popular yet as it needs to be. Not enough people have it. Those numbers, both of those numbers should have been bigger, if I'm being honest. And for Warner Brothers, who's now got to be careful with what they're spending, neither of these numbers are high enough to warrant more. Now, Wonder Woman is a theatrical franchise. I wonder how well that would have done in theaters, to be perfectly honest. But, it's a little bit easier sell than what is Zack Snyder going to do next and all the heroes that come back. Justice League is a much more expensive movie than Wonder Woman 3. It's just a reality. And I thought might have been part of the deal to get Patty and them to agree to doing that streaming. We don't even know what the deal was, but it might have been, look, we'll pay you this amount, and we promise part 3 no matter what the outcome is. That all could have been done behind the scenes for all we know. So why they're making the decisions on certain, who knows? But reality is Samba TV showed that the diversity breakdown for Snyder Cut was 17% Black, 20% Hispanic, 18% Asian demos of the 25 largest markets. The most indexed were San Francisco, Sacramento, and Los Angeles. Interesting. Wonder Woman saw Seattle, San Francisco, and Portland over-indexing most of the first weekend, making 100,000 overperforming when compared to U.S. overall, meaning their household income. They're breaking sort of down the demos of who was watching it. By the end of the 2020, Wonder Woman had clocked 3.3 million houses. Wow, that's so. After that's opening weekend, it only got 0.8 more. That's not good. The replay value on Wonder Woman was not good. I wonder. I could see Snyder Cut being better on replay value with just the fans who are going to keep, those 2 million fans will keep rewatching it over and over again, whereas I don't see a lot of Wonder Woman fans rewatching 84. No offense, but didn't like that one. In fact, I think I disliked that one. I like the Snyder Cut more than I did Wonder Woman 84. I'll say it. I liked Pedro Pascal, and that was about it. I really didn't like that movie. It really has not sat with me well. Tell it like it is, wherever it is. I like Patty Jenkins, I like Gal, but man, that was a bad movie. Well, there you go. So, and apparently, the premiere of Falcon Winter Soldier clocked in at 1.7 million households in Disney. They've been around longer. They're doing well. I think when WandaVision, Mandalorian has helped them get that up. So now people are sort of expecting and waiting for the next big show. But still, that was their highest premiere apparently as well for Disney Plus. So that's telling you that HBO Max is performing better on a movie basis. But they don't get to do that week to week. They have a big weekend with 2 big movies, and then it's over. We'll see what happens moving forward. But they know now HBO Max is like, damn, we need these movies because we don't have hit shows that people are tuning into like Disney does. And so there you go. So Justice League grossed $657 million off of what was estimated at $300 million budget cost. According to Deadline, the film finance sources lost $60 million at the time. The price tag on Justice League is now at an estimated $370 million, given the Pix reshoots and additional VFX at Warner Brothers. Heeded the social media call of the film's cast and fans. Released Snyder Cut, seeing a worthy investment in making it a jewel to HBO Max. The new cut expands greatly on the character arc of DC superhero Cyborg. The actor has been vocal on social media and about Whedon, et cetera, et cetera. They're bringing all the drama. And honestly, part of that drama I think did hurt. That and the Geeks and Gamers drama when Zack Snyder called them out before, none of that helped the streaming. But there you got to remember that. Look, so $370 million to ultimately do this movie. 300 plus the 770 they gave more, plus there's other numbers and things that you got to factor in from a P&R standpoint, et cetera. So the fact that it lost money while making this much worldwide, got to take out theater grosses and a lot of other things that come out of that money. Profit participation for cast, etc. At the end of the day, they needed to make way more, and they didn't. So they lost 60, and they've already spent another 70. So did this movie make it for them by downloads? That's ultimately what they're factoring, and why the decision was what it was. So look, take it with a, you got to have those caveats as to what this is. But it's interesting seeing the trades out there definitely trying to spin it like more like a failure. I think a failure is a bad word. I never tried to claim it was a failure. I think there was a lot of mistakes that the fans, some of the serious fans did, and they continue to make against this. They can't accept the gift that they were given. Now they want the whole studio, and that's why this is now. I think Anne threw that article down. She wanted to take back charge of her studio and everything else that's going. And let's not forget, I didn't lead the story with this, and but Ray Fisher didn't help either. Now, let me be objective here for a second, because this headline also on Deadline trending today: Ray Fisher demands Warner Media reveal Justice League investigation findings. All right, well, yeah, that'd be nice, but you won't do that either, Ray, because you said that there were people who spoke in confidence who you didn't want to reveal. You refused to give us details for that very reason. So now Ray is pushing Warner Media back against the wall, saying, well, release all the data. But Ray, how are they supposed to do that if all the people you protected were there doing it? You're trying to make them do it because you won't, so they look bad? I just don't understand what he's doing is just so frustrating to me. Like, they also have confirmed he didn't sign an NDA. The NDA is not active anymore. He can say whatever he wants. And Ray's fixated on this racial thing, which, I'm sorry, this is hearsay. He's trying to say, like, this happened, but who said it? Who said this happened? Who was there in the meeting? Did multiple people say this happened? I need to know who said it. If this person racistly said this, and want Jeff Johns, whoever it is, then tell us. It's just like the Meghan Markle thing right now. Tell us so we can know who to get rid of. Why won't you tell us? You have no NDA. You're telling Warner Brothers to reveal the information. Why won't you? This is my frustration with the whole story. He's continuing to just make it stretched out. And the fact that show me the proof that reducing those characters wasn't because they were filler. Show me the proof. This is such a jump to conclusions, and that's his main point that he's still fighting for. So guys, as I was fighting all this is why I get mad. Personally, this upsets me because you got to tell me specifics. And these are the specifics. And I'm sorry, these specifics aren't strong enough for me. They're not. I don't just stand with somebody because they tell me this. Who told you this? Who said it? Do you have proof of this? Those are fair questions that we're all allowed to ask. And anybody who's mad at me for asking those questions is ridiculous. And he's been doing this all year. All year. So yeah, I'm getting fed up. And so I took joy in the fact that he and the toxic fans, the people who are out there saying, fire Ann Sarnoff, yada, 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 the bots, I'll call them, how about that? The Snyder bots, who will do whatever Snyder tells them to do. That's who I'm upset about, and we all should be upset about it. And honestly, everyone's got to calm down. They got something. It did okay. It did pretty well. Fans, critics have all overwhelmingly said, "Yeah, that was better than I thought." We should be celebrating and saying this is a win. Instead, they're out there still fighting. It's never going to end. It's enough. And Snyder fans, if you are made this far and you're like, "All right, fine, fair, Andy, you were pretty fair in this," please. All I've been trying to do this whole time is to call out the bots. The bots aren't helping. That's why Ann Sarnoff did what she did. That's why the SnyderVerse is dead for now. Because a studio doesn't want to be run by the asylum, by the crazy fans. They don't want to do that. The fans who won't accept what they got and let the studio do what they want to do. The studio lost money and gave money to Zach to fulfill his vision. They righted a wrong. And at that point, it's time to move on. And then Ray Fisher's out here still saying, well, apparently now, all this happened. Oh, and by the way, this is the person who was assessed to evade. It's just there to do legal liabilities. I thought you hired her, Ray. Didn't you insist on the third party doing it? Didn't you put out her own audio saying that she said you were a credible witness? So now when they go against what guys, you can't hire a third party investigation and then demand that you get what you want. That's not how it works. So I just don't understand here. He was all for this third party investigation. He pushed for it. He fought for it. He used her own words saying he was credible. And now she's just a former judge. She's just now simply a lawyer. What is this dude's like knocking because he didn't get his way. Because he didn't get his way, now we're knocking the lawyer? Well, now it must be that person. They must be lying too. How do you guys not see how frustrating this is? This is insane to me. As I've said, they'll shift the blame to they haven't done that. And then, as I've said, people, here it is. Furthermore, there's really nothing that Walter did, and the fact that he's a person of color, tone deaf. Okay, sorry, but what now? What do you want? What do you still want? I don't understand what he wants. Oh, and final thought: rather than trying to convince people on what the Justice League didn't find, how about you start telling them what it did find? Because you have been telling all of us that you're protecting the witnesses. So how can they tell us and reveal the investigation without revealing the witnesses, which you've refused to do? So now you're going to make the studio do it? I'm confused. Just because someone says something, we need to know, well, who said it? Are they credible? Who are they? It's hard to get... Guys, I'm trying to be as rational here as possible, but this is why I've been frustrated about these types of fans who have been pushing and following him no matter what. Based on what? Just what he tells you. And we can't do that as a society. Look, believe him all you want, but we can't fire and just cut people down. When you demanded an investigation, you get said investigation. You then say, okay, well, she told me I was credible. She got all the intel. Okay, well, now that investigation that I asked her to do, they were just looking for legal liability. They're actually not going to do anything. It's starting to smell really fishy because Ray demands an outcome and expected an outcome, and the investigation didn't give him what he wants. And so now, like the Snyder bots, they won't accept the results. They won't accept that you got the cut. You know what I'm saying? So, look, that's why I want to get all that out of the way so we can move on. Please, oh my God, please, Ray. Let's all move on. Let's celebrate what Zach did. Let's go back to the positive. Did pretty well. It did pretty well. Did it do well enough to justify another $300 million on a film and get all the actors back? Probably not. Let's be honest. No, it didn't. But could it happen someday if the fans calm down and everybody sort of accepts what it is and then we maybe come back? Maybe. Anything's possible. But are they going to come back if we keep demanding that we fire Ant Sarnoff and all this crap that's out there? No. Let's be realistic, everybody. Who can be realistic with me? Please leave a comment down below and say, Andy, I can be realistic. I'm with you. I support that. Sanity, normalcy. Let's all move on. Fair coverage. Anything you want to say down below to help the engagement of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Got lots more coming, so make sure you subscribe or check out some of these. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.